folks, welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to go ahead and talk about exceptions. What is an exception? An exception is a problem that arises during the execution of a program. So whenever an exception occurs, the normal flow of the program will be disrupted and the program is going to go ahead and terminate abnormally. So we don't want this to happen. We don't want our exception, because of the exception, our program gets terminated abruptly. So let's see an example of what is an exception. So for example, let's go ahead and create a simple class and let's name it as an exception example. And in this, I have created a main method. So I have a string variable. String is equals to name is equals to Deepika. And in this string variable, I'm going to go ahead and display name is name dot of uppercase. So I am going to go ahead and convert into uppercase. So this is fine. I'm going to get an output where Deepika will be written in capital letters. So it's going to go ahead and say Deepika. Now let's say by mistake I forgot and to put the name here, and I just said null, because a string name can be null, and I forgot to change this null value. And there is no error in this program. There is no syntax error. You don't see any red marks in this program. But if I run the program, this is going to go ahead and give me an exception. So here, run as Java application, it's going to blow up and it's going to say a null pointer exception has occurred. Now, if after this exception occurred at this line, at line number 8, so here you're trying to do a null and you're trying to do an uppercase method, you're calling on a null value. So that's why it gave you a null pointer exception. So now in this case, let's say I have another line after this, and let's say this is sysout. So now there is nothing wrong with line number 9, but because an exception has occurred at line number 8, your program is going to go ahead and terminate abnormally, or it's abruptly. So here if I go ahead and do this, because of this null pointer exception, this line would not get printed. So this is an exception. In an exception, the normal flow of the program gets terminated abruptly, and this exception occurs if there's a problem arises during the execution of the program. So once you don't see any syntax errors here. There's nothing wrong in the program, but when you run this program, it blows up. So this is, we have an exception. So similarly, let me go ahead and give you another example of an exception. So let's say I have created an array, and this array is of, let's say, integer type. So I have an array of int, and the name is ARR, a new of int, and the size is, let's say, 5 elements can be there. Now I'm trying to go ahead and access the array at location element at index 100. You have already defined the size of your array as 5, and you're trying to access an element at index of 100. There is no element. There is no problem in this code, because you don't see any syntax error. There's no issue here. So, but when you run this program, it's going to go ahead and explode. So when I go ahead and say run as Java application, it's going to go ahead and give me an array index out of bound exception. So even if the next line that I'm writing is in a okay line. Hello guys, this is a simple print statement I'm trying to do. This line, there's nothing wrong with line number 9, and when you run this program, this line will not get executed because an exception has been thrown here. So if I go ahead here and say run as Java application, so this is another exception. So there are different kinds of an exception. So I repeat, an exception is a problem that arises during the execution of your program, and whenever an exception occurs, the normal flow of the program is going to disrupt it, and the program is going to get terminated abnormally. So how we can handle these scenarios, how we can do those things. So we'll see that in the next tutorial. Till then, thank you so much.